Yo, it's your boy E,
It's your boy Cam.
and you're tuned into
Well Society.
Trendsetter, bend frame getter. With whatever. I buy diamonds when I'm under pressure. Pull up smooth. Hey, out with the cross. Counting up wins on wins on wins for all of my dogs I lost.
Testing.
1, 2, 3. All right, what's up, guys? So this is the first ever podcast from us. My name is Eduardo,
My name is Cam.
and we're just going to be talking about a couple of things in our life and some things that might help
In
others.
general,
So the first topic, let's go into books
into
and
books. All right, before we
reading.
get into that, tell them a little bit about yourself. What inspired you to?
Okay, yeah,
to
you're
do
right.
this?
I played baseball my whole life, and I played all throughout high school and then college as well. And when I was in college, I realized I was like, man, like it's hard to even play baseball without money, right?
Mhm.
Without doing like it's hard to do things that you want to do without first looking inside at
Oh.
yourself, right?
Mhm.
Like if you don't know yourself, it's hard to know what you
Exactly.
want to do, right?
And like it's extremely hard to know yourself if you're running from all your problems and stuff. So,
Exactly. And when I started seeing like, oh damn, like I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to play baseball for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
Like not even that. I just realized the level where I was at in baseball, it wasn't gonna lead me to where I wanted to go.
Mhm.
And as much work as I put in, I was like, this is not working. Like
Mhm.
I would work my ass off, and
And
I knew it wasn't working, so I had to put an end to it. So I was in California. I came back here to Houston, and I still kept my spirit up. Right, I was just like, man, let's do it. I want to play. I still want to play. Blah blah blah. So I got with a trainer. I worked for 2 months, and I got my body right. And in those 2 months, I played in the collegiate league, and I played my best baseball ever. Right,
Mhm.
I got a scholarship to play Oregon, and I said no because I didn't want to deal with what I dealt in California.
exactly,
Right,
but on another scale.
and not only that, it was like I wanted to stay home because I miss my family, and it was hard because like I have a good family
Exactly.
that loves me, right?
I felt like a part of you was like missing.
Yeah, and then just going to another place when I didn't even want to play baseball like that. I feel like I just wanted the like
The attention.
attention. Like I was just playing for like attention pretty much. And like
Exactly.
you know how people market sports and like,
Mhm.
oh, you can go D1, blah blah. I feel like I was caught in that loophole of like marketing.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
And that's dangerous because then you're playing for others. You're not playing for yourself. In those 2 months, I was playing for myself, but then I realized, wait, if I go here to college, I don't even believe in college, and I'm going to play baseball to pursue something that I know is probably not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. And I wasn't gonna be happy doing it. I was just like, yeah, I got a scholarship. Yeah, I did good those 2 months, and I just wasn't gonna. I knew I wasn't gonna be happy, so I stayed here and decided to play baseball at home, and then it didn't work out. So I just called it quits, and I started coaching baseball, and I realized that kids needed help in baseball, like just a different mindset of what was going on in baseball. And then, and then I just started making videos, and I fell in love with making videos and just taking pictures, and then I saw podcast was the best way to talk about things, and so now we're here.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you came to that realization early
Yeah.
and that you can be honest with yourself. Like that's where the self improvement starts is being honest with yourself and knowing exactly what and what will not make you happy.
Yeah, that's true. Well, so tell us about you.
So lately I've been focusing on doing and talking less.
Mm.
So the consequence of that is I have to hold everything in
Yeah.
all the time
That's true.
and it gets overwhelming. So this is gonna be my way of, spewing what's on my brain, you know?
Yeah,
And
talking about it. It's just because if you like that was me too. Like I would just keep things to myself because I didn't really have like anybody
Mhm.
to speak to about these things. And until my girl, right?
Yeah.
I started talking to her about these things. But I mean, I feel like you shouldn't be talking to your girl about everything that's in your head. I mean,
Oh,
that's what you
exactly.
have friends.
Yeah, it's dangerous. I've done that and we can go into relationships in another podcast, but
Yeah.
I purposely in my last relationship was vulnerable and I let her know everything, and it ended up in my destruction.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend telling everything to your girl.
That is true. Like you can't say everything that's on your head. Just I mean you can, but you better keep it to yourself.
Sometimes, like yes, it's good to be truthful, but at the same
Yeah.
time, you can't be blunt with
Talk
females.
to a friend about it. Don't
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
talk to a friend about it. But how we met, I went to a gym in Houston. That's where we're at, and it's called Dynamic Fitness. And I started working out, and I saw them, and I just introduced myself to him and some other guy.
Hmm.
They're friends, but yeah, we just started talking, and we had a lot of things that were similar mindset wise, and yeah, we just chopped it up, and that's how we came up with this idea of starting this. So yeah, that's why we're here.
I remember, like, I don't remember if it was the first day we met, but he gave me some of his hand chalk, and I remember snorting it, and it gave me superpowers and allowed me to live
3 plates? No,
3
it's
plates.
2 plates and something?
Oh
I
yeah,
forgot what it was.
I think it was 2 plates and a 25.
Later on, he lifted
Yeah.
3 plates. Yeah, later on, he lifted 3 plates. But yeah, all right. So the first topic we want to talk about is let's talk about books and reading and just writing, just everything like books. in
English
general.
wise, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I'm a reader. I'm an avid reader. I started reading like right after I finished high school. I I picked up a book. It was like a self-help book, and I was like, damn, like, I hated reading. My mom would make me read like in the mornings in my childhood, and I would hate it. I freaking hated it. But when I picked up the book, I saw a lot of things in the book. I was like, oh shit, like,
It's
this
I
is
think it's a difference, like, when you pick it up on your own
yeah,
and then when someone's forcing you to do it.
yeah, yeah,
Because same, like, growing up, like, when they would force me to read or force me to write essays, I would never read. I would go online and I would cheat.
yeah,
Same thing for my writing. I would just reword it, and I just became really good at that. And not until recently, I discovered that in order to communicate effectively, I need to be able to read without getting impatient and bored, and then also write too. And it's like it's a different feeling from listening when you're actually like reading it, because like it sticks with you more.
that is true. Yeah, audio books. Like I've tried it before. I don't concentrate enough. So I'd rather like read because it's just easier for me to read it and pick it up because you can slow it down, you can write it down.
Mhm.
And audio, once it says it, I mean, you can play it back, but you're in a car, you can't write it down.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
you don't really think about it in depth as
And you can't really apply something that you don't remember.
yeah, exactly.
And I
So-
think the importance of reading is it's not even just like retaining the knowledge, it's how you use the knowledge to apply to your life. And I know that like now I'm reading like really slow, but that's because I read and then I ask myself questions and like I try to shape myself kind of in the same way the book is and try to, improve every single way that I can.
Yeah, man. A lot of these books, they really do have answers to like life, but we just have to like read and read and read
And just keep reading.
and keep reading because if you don't pick up a good book and you just give up on reading because that book was trash, I mean, that's your fault. Pick a better book, right? There's
Exactly.
books out there with good information that you don't have to be like reading books that you don't like. Pick up a book and then you will find like
Find
answers.
deep answers at that
Yeah.
too. Answers that you don't know the questions to even ask for that.
Yeah.
And if you want to know what some good books are, just look up Hamza. He's a YouTuber, and look up Hamza books, and then he goes through all the books that helped him shape the person that he is, and he's pretty successful. So
No, yeah, yeah. So in terms of when we're reading books, like how has reading books helped you like so far?
like I kind of haven't like I've kind of been social, and I kind of haven't. It's kind of like a new skill that I've learned is to be
Yeah.
social, but like reading along with writing after I read allows me to be social, but like communicate
Mhm.
like precisely to what I mean to say. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like like reading really does give you like a superpower because you're just like you can express yourself better. You just can do so many things. Like you have so many things in your head that you didn't have before. And when you tell people, they look at you funny. Or when you
Exactly.
tell people, they're like, "What are you talking about?" Or like, you're so dumb. I'm like, no, it's just, it's like the book literally said it. And I know it's true because I,
I could see it,
I can
like,
see it like
yeah,
in my head. I can experience it. I can see it. And I'm like, oh, you put two and two together. You're like, oh, yep,
mhm,
yep, that's true. But people just haven't thought about it in that way because they haven't read like anything or they haven't seen it.
yeah,
So they think we're dumb. Right.
exactly. But as far as reading, this is an issue that I have, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have too. Is ability to stay focused for a long periods of time
Yeah.
and actually understand what you're reading. Because I remember like growing up, I would read, but like I would kind of like skip lines, and I would never really like take in the actual knowledge.
That's true.
So as far as how I got my attention span to read for long periods of time is I stopped playing video games.
Facts. I stopped playing video games in high school, like senior year. I was like,
Exactly.
I gotta call it quits because it
Exactly.
was during COVID. And I was like, this is sick. Like I was playing like
And you
24/7.
know what else gets me, which is even worse than video games, is I deleted Instagram and I deleted TikTok and I deleted Snap
Yeah.
because those apps are designed to clap your attention span. Like if you think about it,
Yeah.
like like some people don't even fully watch a TikTok before they swipe away and they need to go to the next one, and it's impossible to focus when you're constantly swiping through your phone
Yeah.
trying to find like the next, I guess, dopamine.
Dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like some of you have like heard this, but like if you don't use Instagram and all these social media platforms as a tool
Mhm.
to like for your business or to like to make money, then why use it? Like at
Mm.
this point, you're a consumer, you're not a producer,
Exactly.
and then it just hurts you because you want all these dopamine hits, so you're always on Instagram 24/7. This happens to me too. So like almost like every month, I delete my social media
Exactly.
and I regroup, and then okay, I get clear on what I want to do, and then I download them back again, and then
Exactly.
use them again for
Whatever the
my
purpose
baseball
is.
business or whatever I'm doing, right?
Mhm.
So that's a good way to think about it. Like these social media platforms aren't. Yeah, TikTok taught me, like, a lot of things,
Mhm.
right? Um, but in the end, it's just like sick because
Exactly.
you just scroll.
It's too much information too. Like in order to like become good at anything, you can't be all over the place and your brain can't be scattered. You
Yeah,
need to know like one thing and then become good at it. And
that's true.
TikTok teaches you everything,
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
ruins you.
yeah. You're just thinking about hella.
Yeah. And I think like, because eventually we're gonna get into talking about becoming a man and becoming, the best version of you. And I feel like one of the most important attributes of being a man is to be clear-headed and decisive. And you
Yeah,
can't do that if your attention span and your head is all over the place.
you're not clear when you're
Exactly.
thinking about
Hmm.
this, that, her, him. Like it's only.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk about what do you want to talk about?
We can talk about a superpower I just discovered.
All right.
It's gonna sound crazy, but it's been like I seen it on YouTube and I also like read some books on it, but it's breathing properly.
Yeah, yeah.
Because naturally
That's good.
our breathing is short, and we're not getting the full breath. But I started taking deep breaths, which is not just the rise of your chest, it's the rise of your stomach actually. And then when you breathe out, your stomach comes back in.
That's
And
true.
what that does is whenever I catch myself and I'm like, all right, I need to start breathing, it calms me down, it lets me focus, and it lets me be in the moment and makes me realize and get out of my head. Like if that makes sense. Like for example, for a while I think that I was unattractive and that like girls weren't really, giving me choosing signals. But I realized that I couldn't notice the choosing signals because I was too in my head. But when I took the deep breath, I remember walking into work the other day and there's a whole bunch of girls smiling at me. I'm like, damn, like it's right in front of my face. And I just need to focus on right now. And the breathing is what helps me do that.
That's crazy. Like I never thought about that. I'm like talking to girls that you could just breathe, just calm me down.
Exactly.
But yeah, it is true because breathing does calm you down. I did it. When I was playing ball during the summer last year, it was just breathing technique I saw on TikTok, and I did it. And every at bat, every time I would go up to the plate, I was like this, just like that, and then you let it go. And honestly, it calmed me down. I was just like, and I was just worrying about my breath. I wasn't worrying about like the pitcher or
Mhm.
like, the catcher or the ball. I was just,
And it's like it's
two
weird.
breath, two
Short breaths.
through your nose, and then you just let it out.
Mm.
And then that, like, honestly, that helped me so much. It was the best hitting I've ever done in my life.
And it's kind of like it's weird, like, because it goes hand in hand with meditation too. And it's kind of like you can see the energy and things are slowed down,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And
Yeah,
that's
no, no.
probably what allowed you to hit the balls. Like,
Yeah. When you're breathing, it's like you're focused on breathing. You're not focused on anything else. Yeah, you might feel nervous, but that nervousness goes away when you're like,
exactly.
like you don't even care about what's going on. You just care about your breath.
And
then,
that alone
yeah,
will kill any anxiety you have with whether it's playing baseball or talking to females. Like,
yeah.
some
It goes much more than that. It's like with anything, like a bit like an interview or whatever you need. Like,
exactly.
if you breathe and you practice it, because you can't just do it and then magically have it. You have to
Exactly.
practice that.
Like,
Yeah.
next time you're talking to someone in an interview, or someone that makes you nervous, pay attention to your breath, because you're probably not breathing at all, and you get nervous and you're holding it all in
Yeah.
without realizing. But if you calm down and you breathe first,
Yeah, that's true.
you're gonna be there.
No, yeah. Breathing is really big. Also, when I would wake up, I would try to like meditate in the morning. It helped me. It was here and there. I just wasn't consistent. But when I was consistent, I feel like I was clear on my goal, on what I wanted to do in life.
Exactly.
During that time, it was baseball, and I was super clear. I would work out like 2 times a day. I would hit. I would do everything baseball, because I was super clear on my goal in my head, and I would journal it. I would write it down what I wanted to do, and then I was clear on it. And I would
That's
also do my breathing, everything.
and that's perfect. What he just said was he wrote everything down.
Yeah.
If you look to our left, or his left,
Yeah.
you'll see a whiteboard. That alone is something that I have in my room, and when I have too many things to do, I literally write everything down, and that gets it from my head to a page, and
Yeah.
now I'm less stressed.
Yeah, and now you can just see it if you need to see it, right? You can just go
Exactly.
back and see it. Yeah, I have 2 journals. I have one journal for my books to write down notes or whatever, quotes. And then I have one journal I actually have 3 journals. And then I have one journal for like every day, like what happened this day, like what could I do better? And then I have the third journal is just ideas that I have that come up. Like, oh wait, I can do this for my podcast. Oh wait, I can do this for editing or videos. So I have 3 journals, and that's better than putting it in your notes in your phone, honestly, because
Exactly.
that's just annoying.
And for all the guys out here who are too tough to journal,
Yeah.
I recommend you read this book.
Oh, yeah, we have some good books, good book recommendations.
You should read Ego is the Enemy.
Show it to them. Show it to them.
Like this. He'll zoom in when he edits, but
Yeah.
you should read that book, because that's society telling you that writing in a journal is feminine, but it's not. It actually is something that every successful person does.
Yeah, that's true.
And like very famous people and like geniuses literally write anything that comes to mind in a journal, and that catches the creativeness in the moment, and it brings people far.
Yeah, you see a lot of these people in the past. They wrote down like in their diaries, and now we have them, right? Of what they were thinking, and that's what they call, like, the Stoics. Okay, you know how they wrote down all their ideas and stuff. Well, we have it now because they wrote it down.
Exactly.
And if we write it down, I mean, somebody will have it later on in the future. Right?
Exactly, and that's kind of like
That's kind of cool
exciting.
to know that someone's gonna be in your head.
Like
later on.
every pen stroke is part of history if someone finds your journals.
Yeah, and it doesn't only help you; it helps others as well.
Exactly.
Potentially in the future. But yeah, I would recommend journaling too. If you have a goal in your life, to journal, it really does help. It helps me a lot.
And honestly, like, it doesn't even have to be about goals necessarily. Like, you can just literally start writing,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
eventually it'll just be natural, and it'll start flowing out of you. Like, I know that, like, recently, like, when I journal, I talk about the cold hard truth.
Yep.
With no emotion, with no insecurities or feelings. I face the truth, and then I write about how I plan to better it, and it's taken me far. It's taken me far.
No, definitely it has. I would recommend journaling, reading, breathing. That's like the basic things that everybody knows,
That humans do,
but that they don't do.
And you know why? It's because we're so attached to this phone, which is
Yeah.
why I lock it up sometimes. Because it's like
You have to. You have to
whenever
lock it up.
I'm focused on the game or I'm focused on my phone, I forget literally to do the basic human things, and you can't advance if you don't do good at the basic things, which is read, write, and breathe.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't know how to read or write, right, like you have to be
Exactly.
able to communicate with somebody. If you want a business opportunity, you have to be able to talk clearly. And I learned this like about a year ago, and I'm still struggling with it now. Actually, I'm in school right now. I don't believe in school, but I'm in school, and I had a project, and I did a project yesterday with a group of people, or my group, right, my group project, and we did like a business interview
hmm
and knowing everybody's culture. We were talking about everybody's culture and stuff, and it's like, damn, like I don't know how to communicate.
Exactly.
It's like, wow, I have a lot of work left to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
To actually get across what I want to get across, because me not being able to get across is potentially hurting me from a
Exactly.
business
And
opportunity.
sometimes like it can be like frustrating. So
Yeah,
as long as you can realize that, now it's like now you can begin.
yeah,
And,
that's true.
and
All
that's
right, next topic. Let's talk about relationships.
relationships.
Yeah,
Like with females.
yeah, with
Okay.
females.
So I've been after my heartbreak,
So when did you start dating her? This girl,
it was freshman year of college.
freshman year of college, all the way to
Mhm.
the end of college, high school. No, you
Well,
said
well, it's
freshman
been
year. You said
it's been a
freshman year of
year. The
college.
last time I spoke to her was February, and I'll talk to you the last day we spoke, and I'll go into that. But for now, let's focus on the relationship part. I
Yeah.
don't want to say that the whole relationship was an experiment because my feelings that were actually involved and I actually did get attached, but I knew going into the relationship that it could potentially end because I chose to ignore the red flags and I chose to give her parts of me that no man should ever give a woman. For example, you're never supposed to tell your woman your darkest fears.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you do end up telling her your fears and she throws it back in your face, you have to leave. You can't go back and forth and do the toxic thing. You have to be decisive and you have to lead your woman. These are all things that I didn't know. Like, for example, picking a place to eat, even though that's something so simple, you have to choose it. Or choosing what show y'all watch. Don't make her make the decisions because that puts her in a masculine role. And as your female gets more masculine, the more love is gone, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't she will start
No, honestly, let's talk about women and men being equal.
mm-hmm,
Like, yeah, it's good in some areas,
mm-hmm.
but when it comes down to like a relationship,
You have to
like
stay
you
in the
have
roles.
to have like
The
this here and this
the
here.
masculine and the feminine roles because whenever it starts to switch and your woman starts making the decisions, then that's whenever she starts getting disrespectful and she starts denying your ability to think clearly and
Yeah.
decisive and you're forcing her into the role of a man, which deep down she will start to
Kind of like despise you
yeah
because it's
despise you.
like, wow, you're supposed to do this.
Even though she will never usually say it, that's what will happen over time if you let your girl become the man. And that's something that I didn't know because unfortunately my father wasn't there to teach me all these things.
Yeah.
But amongst all the things that I've learned over my past research between myself and reading books is women are emotional creatures and when they get an attitude with you, you're not supposed to get an attitude back. You're not supposed to be mad. Instead, you're supposed to penetrate them with your love and do everything you can to stay happy because the test that I never seen coming was your ability to stay calm and happy. If you let your girl's negative emotions drag you in with them, you felt the test, and that is where it all starts. Like the failing will all start. If that
Like, what
makes
do you
sense.
mean when you let your negative?
Like if your girl's in a bad mood
Uh huh.
and you let that bad mood change your happy mood to bad with her,
Uh huh.
it's bound for destruction.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually happens to me sometimes.
Exactly.
If she's
I
in a
mean,
bad,
it's hard.
she's in a bad mood and I'm in a good mood, and I'm just like,
And
why?
and the
Like,
test
why are you
and
like
the
that?
test
You know?
and the test is are you gonna keep is your love strong enough to get her out of that mood? Because if
Yeah.
your love isn't strong enough to get out of that mood, then she's not for you. But like you have to be creative and you have to be consistent and persistent, because if you're not, if you slip up and you keep getting angry and you keep letting her bad moods affect you,
Mm.
then y'all's relationship is bound to collapse.
Yeah, and like the book that he showed us is it's like even in a relationship you can't have an ego, right? In a
Oh,
relationship
whatsoever.
it's 100%, 100%, right? You can't give 50-50. It's you have to go all in
Exactly.
because that's your job, right?
Your
She
job.
has to go all in because that's her job in a relationship. You
Exactly.
have to be all in no matter what.
Mhm.
And you can't have ego like when someone when your partner tells you something and like you know it's true,
Mhm.
but you don't want to like accept it. And
Exactly.
you have
And
ego about it, and you're just like, no, and then that turns into the problem itself.
exactly,
It
yeah.
ruins the relationship because
Ego is literally
constant
the enemy.
ego is like no one's gonna want to be with you when
Exactly.
you have
And I'd admit, like, if my ex ever ends up listening to this podcast, I'd like to apologize for not conducting myself as a man. And I realized that, like, looking back on it, I tried so hard to control her and control everything around me
Yeah.
that wasn't the real issue. The real issue was I needed to know how to control myself and control my emotions and control what I say and control what I do. And once you figure that out, once you gain the power of your own mind, that's whenever the real journey begins and you can start to get really, really far.
yeah. It's just it comes down to like knowing yourself before you get yourself into anything tricky.
And if we want to talk about relationships, really, this is another good one. Other than keeping your frame and not getting emotionally yelling and getting mad and stuff,
Yeah.
another one is you have to be on your purpose. And your purpose, your woman could never be over your purpose.
Yeah, that's what I told my girl
Ever.
in the beginning when we started dating. I didn't even want to date her, right?
Mhm.
I did not want to date her because I knew I knew myself, and I was like I was
Mhm.
gonna get distracted by her.
Mhm.
But then I explained this to her. I was like super like forward.
They
Right?
understand.
I was like, you're not gonna take baseball. Like, you're not gonna be number one. It's gonna be baseball first,
Mhm.
right? And she understood, and she was like okay. And throughout the next few months that I was playing baseball, she supported me. She came to a couple of my games.